Did you know? In Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers calls Tony Stark Doctor. This could mean Tony has actually been a variant of Doctor Doom, a version of Doom written into the sacred timeline by Kang the Conqueror himself, to be born as Tony Stark. So if the Tony we all know and love is actually Doctor Doom, who is the real Tony Stark? The Avengers Doomsday trailer shows Steve Rogers wearing a wedding ring. Not just any ring, the same ring worn by Old Man Steve at the end of Avengers Endgame, when he passes the shield to Sam Wilson. So what does that mean? Is this our Steve Rogers, the one who went back in time, lived a full life, and grew old? Or is this a different Steve? A variant with a similar life, similar choices, but a completely different timeline? Because in a multiverse, two people can look identical, remember similar things, and still not be the same person. So are they the same Steve Rogers? Or two variants with nearly identical destinies? In the Lego Batman: The Legacy of the Dark Knight trailer, you can see young Bruce Wayne dressed as the Grey Ghost, the origin of the Batcave in Batman Begins. What if he was outside, playing hero, exploring the grounds, already inspired by the Grey Ghost? Because in Batman the Animated Series, the Grey Ghost is Bruce's childhood hero. Maybe Bruce was searching for adventure and accidentally discovered what would one day become the Batcave. In Superman, Lex Luthor isn't just fighting Superman, he's toying with him, hunting him, not out of fear, not even out of hatred, but for sport. To Lex, it's a game. But then, everything changes. When Lex is exposed to the world, something inside him snaps, because that feeling doesn't just disappear, it festers, it grows. And from that moment on, this isn't a game anymore. It isn't sport. It's personal. Now, Lex doesn't just want to defeat Superman, he wants Superman to feel exactly the way Superman made him feel. In Avengers Endgame, Ancient One warns that removing even a single Infinity Stone from the timeline would create a dark branch reality, a fractured universe. What happens when Thanos destroys all of them? Catastrophe that destabilizes everything, leading directly into Avengers Doomsday. What if the destruction of the stones is what opens the door for Doctor Doom?
Hate leads to I hate them. I hate you. No!
Right now, you're feeling a bit like Alice.
No.
Why not?
Why not?
I don't know.
I don't know. I swear to God. Swear to me. I'm not wearing hockey pads.
No, you're not.
New mask, same task.
Peace in our time.
In Iron Man, when Tony Stark builds his very first suit in the cave, the mask looks like the mask worn by Doctor Doom. If Tony Stark's first armor already resembles Doctor Doom's iconic mask, how long has Marvel been planting these ideas? Was it just coincidence, or a subtle visual seed planted at the very beginning of the MCU? A hint. In Star Wars, Anakin Skywalker is the chosen one, the one destined to bring balance to the Force. It's not Anakin who saves the galaxy, because without Luke, Vader never would have become Anakin again. He never would have destroyed Emperor Palpatine. Without Luke, there is no redemption, no balance, no end to the Emperor.
I have the high ground.
The World Tree created by Loki appeared years earlier, in Captain America: The First Avenger, which raises a huge question. How long has Marvel been planning this? It starts to feel less like coincidence, and more like a master plan, a story decades in the making. In Captain Marvel, the Kree say that when you commune with the Supreme Intelligence, it appears as someone you admire most. We're never told who it appears as for Yon-Rogg. What if, when Yon-Rogg communed with the Supreme Intelligence, he saw himself? In Star Wars, when Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala are relaxing in the grass on Naboo, he tells Padme there are only 3 politicians he actually likes: Palpatine, Padme herself, and third, Bail Organa, the senator who would later adopt and raise their daughter.
8 plus 16. We're in the atmosphere.
In Sinner's color isn't just style, it's story. Smoke wears blue. He's feeling blue after the loss of his child, but then there's Stack, he wears red, because as the story unfolds, Stack becomes a bloodthirsty vampire. In the latest Spider-Man trailer, MJ doesn't look happy. She can't even pretend to be. She may not remember Peter Parker. She may not remember him introducing himself again, but there's one thing she almost definitely remembers: Spider-Man. How much of Peter does she remember through Spider-Man? She doesn't remember Peter giving her the necklace. Maybe she remembers Spider-Man giving it to her. In Avengers Endgame, there's what looks like a massive mistake. During the final battle, a giant Ant-Man appears somewhere he shouldn't be. Most people called it an editing error. In Deadpool and Wolverine Inside the Void, an Ant-Man fort built from the remains of a giant Ant-Man. A version of Ant-Man lost to the Void. Because the void isn't just empty space, it's a graveyard of timelines, a place where variants and broken realities end up. Which means if that Ant-Man is the same one, then the void might still be filled with forgotten heroes, lost variants, and things we were never meant to see. In the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, Ned Leeds looks genuinely happy, completely unaware that MJ is only pretending to be. Because before the spell, she was Peter's person. She wanted time with him, not Ned always being there, just a little too much. But now, because Peter is gone from her memory, where did all that emotion go? What if it didn't disappear? What if it just shifted, redirected onto the one person she still remembers, Spider-Man?
If they rhyme.
In the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, Peter Parker is standing in front of a wall covered in photos of Spider-Man, but here's the question. Who took those pictures? Because after the spell in Spider-Man No Way Home, MJ doesn't remember Peter, but she does remember Spider-Man. So what if those pictures are hers? Because before the spell, her focus, her connection, her feelings were all tied to Peter. But after, that connection had nowhere to go. So it didn't disappear. It shifted, turned into something else. An obsession with the one person she still remembers. Spider-Man. Same emotions, same curiosity, same pull towards someone she can't explain. Just redirected. The Matrix movies take place after the Terminator movies, and that Neo has been the one in every version of the Matrix under different names. Neo is not Thomas Anderson, he is John Connor, recycled through the different versions of the Matrix until we meet him again as Thomas
Anderson.
Subscribe.